Hey guys, it's Mike, and today I'm going to be showing you how I learn tracks. I get people asking me quite often, how do I learn a track? It takes me forever to learn tracks. So I'm going to walk you through my process. I'm not saying this is the only way to do it, and I'm sure there are more experienced drivers from the real world or from sim racing who have better, faster methods, but this is just something I've adapted over the years. As a content creator, I'm constantly getting new tracks thrown at me, and I have to learn them to put into video form. So this is how to get sort of competent at tracks. And if you're looking to master a track, and there's let's take Spa for example. There's a million videos out there on how to master Spa. So I'm not going to go to a like masterclass level of learning tracks, but I'm going to show you my methods of getting comfortable with a track so you can turn consistent laps. So first thing you want to do, in my opinion, is start with a car you can drive. In this case, I'm in Assetto Corsa and I'm driving the Ferrari 488 GT3 Evo. Don't ask me how I got this car, just know that I have it. You can choose any car you're comfortable with. GT3, GT4 are safe options. Open wheelers with lower horsepower, let's say 300 and under, are also very good choices. And yeah, that's what I start with. So let's go ahead and jump out here on track. Now I'm cheating a bit because I have a track map in the lower left of my screen. It's hidden by my camera, but I'm going to go ahead and turn that off. So this track, I have never driven this before, not turned a single lap, not done any practice runs or anything like that. In fact, I can't even pronounce the name of the track. That's how inexperienced I am. But yeah, I like to set up in good conditions. Don't make it rain. Don't start out at night or anything like that, because I think it's just going to add to the confusion. But let's go ahead and get out there on track. So I like to, in my mind, what's going through my head, it's something I stole from the world of rally, and I like to classify this is kind of silly, but I classify these corners as either twos, what do I do? Twos, fours, or flats. So if you come from the world of rally, you probably know this, but yeah, a two is a slower corner, a four is sort of a medium speed, and then a flat, you take flat out. So I like to just sort of information chunk in my mind using those numbers. So coming up to the first corner here, you can see around it, this track happens to have good visibility, so I know I'm going to have to take that one slow, so I classify that as a 2. And then I can see this one, this looks like a 4. Actually turns out to be flat. So let's see what we're doing here. This is a 4 into a quick little chicane of 2s. So I'm definitely going to have to slow for that. And interesting track texture here. Another chicane, looks like we have to slow right here. So I'm going to classify this in my mind as a 2. And then we round the corner and we're home. Alright, so I'm going to start building my knowledge base now. So I'm coming into this corner. I know I have to slow for this one. So it's slowing into a 2 chicane. And then we're back on the power. And then this one I think is a 4. Yes, we'll classify this as a 4 because I have to lift, but I don't have to slow too much. Then we're back way off the power here.
Subscribe to Sim Racing 604, my favorite YouTube channel.
And then we can go flat through here. Then I believe we're into another chicane, so I'm going to look for a braking point. Took that too slow, so I know for next time I can take that a little bit faster. So that's a 2 chicane, and then into another 2 chicane, which I can enter fast, but I know I need to draw speed out of that, and then we're back home. Alright, let's start turning some laps here. I'll just sort of, I'll try and keep a constant banter so you know what's going through my mind. Alright, so slowing into the 2 chicane, I took that one very aggressively, need to be careful with that, could be a track limits violation. Flat left, 4 right slowing, this is my hairpin, so I need to go all the way down into first gear. Then back on the power, last time I lost a bunch of time here. So I know I can take this one flat, and then there's a corner that I took too slow last time, there we go. So I got into this corner a little faster, and then back on the power here, should be first gear next time, and then slowing, and that is the final corner, so getting on the power as fast as possible. Alright, so we should be able to do some consistent laps here now. So I know I took this too fast last time and ran over that curb, so I got to bleed more speed out. And then just a little lift there coming into my hairpin. And then we're going flat around this one. Flat into the apex. The apex is my breaking point. I know that now. Down into 1 because I went 2 last time and it was a little bit too fast. So in between those apexes is my breaking point for that final corner. So braking, bleed some speed out so we don't violate that corner. Flat, keep it flat through here. Start of the banners on the left there is my breaking point. I will show you that next time. So this one, the apex is my breaking point. Looking for that apex right there. Oh boy. Oh boy. That's bound to happen, not the end of the world. When you start pushing limits, that's when you make mistakes, but I am starting to get a pretty good sense of the track layout here. So this won't matter. But somewhere in between those last 2 apexes, or the first 2 of the 3 apexes, is my breaking point. So it looks like the breaking point into turn 1, there's a white line on the track that I can use. So flat here. You see those blue banners on the left? When that starts, brake. A little bit late there. Not the end of the world. Flat there. Looking for the apex. Gonna brake a little bit sooner because I had a incident last time. Down to first gear. Back on the power as soon as possible. And 1 brake. So just past the first apex. I carried that one in second gear, and I think that was a little bit faster. So yeah, pretty much got this down from not knowing it whatsoever. White line, 1, 2. So flat through here. A little bit before those blue banners start. So yeah, pretty much got it down. There's, you know, certainly room for improvement, and I'm not claiming again that this is a master class, but that's pretty much how I learn these tracks. It's not so much, it doesn't take me a lot of time, and I don't consider myself particularly highly skilled at racing, but I just kind of information chunk. I just break it down, again, using those sort of, I guess you call them a mnemonic device. I use basically rally calls to learn which corners they need to slow for. Then you can start experimenting. Like, once I've got it to this level of knowledge, you can start experimenting, you know, when can I take a different line through this hairpin, or as I'm going through these chicanes that you see, you know, can I go a little bit more aggressively over the curb without throwing away my lap? So it's just things like that where you can start experimenting. Because I can tell you I'm bleeding quite a lot of speed out there, possibly unnecessarily, so I'm going to try experimenting with going a little bit faster. That corner I'm reasonably happy with, seem to have found a decent line through there. I think I didn't check what time I started, but I don't think we're at more than about 10 minutes. So I went a little bit past the white line that time and it worked out well. Or did it? So this again, you can expect to make some mistakes. Don't give up, but just try to understand the sort of flow of the track before you actually get into experimenting with pushing, and hopefully you'll have less of those accidents. And again, I'm doing this in a GT3 car, and it's comparatively an easy car to drive. Yeah, that was a decent route through that chicane. Not super fast, but anyway. Hopefully you guys get the gist. This is how I learn tracks. So I hope that helps. Break down into fast corners, slow corners, and then yeah, start understanding the flow, then start experimenting with where you can start to push. and use a car and conditions that are conducive to learning. Don't try this in a Formula 1 car to start, because you're not going to have a good time. Don't try it in the rain to start, because you're not going to have a good time. So don't try it in traffic either. I mean, you can if you want. Some people like to learn by following the AI, but yeah, I find that it's just better to learn your own lines, because the AI might not be necessarily running the line you can run. Depending on the track, sometimes AI can be too aggressive or too slow, or be able to do things you can't necessarily. They're faster out of corners sometimes and things like that. Assetto Corsa is pretty good, but just generally speaking, whoops, in sim racing, sometimes the AI can be a bit funky. So I think I'll end after this lap, but I hope you folks get the sort of knowledge, or get the fundamentals of how I learn tracks. And then if you can do this routinely, you too can be a middle-aged man driving video games in his garage. Living the dream, living the dream. So yeah, really fun to experiment. I know I said that was the last lap. Said it the last time, but this is the last time. It's fun to sort of push. You can see I'm going past the white line now before braking, and I got to kind of understand the car's momentum and try and get myself settled before I reach the outside curb there. So yeah, just fun to experiment with that, and there's no shame. I mean, if you push too hard and, you know, miss an apex, or you push too hard and go careening off into the grass, costs you nothing. If you need to, just escape and restart session, back to the pits and do it again. This, I would say, is my fastest lap. This one feels pretty good. So yeah, there you go. Okay, so a little unplanned part 2 of this video. I figured people might be saying, yeah, but Mike, you basically taught us how to drive an oval. So let's learn something a lot more complicated. This is, I think it's called Topo. It is a New Zealand track from New Zealand, rather. And again, haven't driven it before. Oof. That's a tight one. So we'll see if we can start to turn consistent laps here, not only in a more complicated track, but a car that's a little more unruly. This is the Pagani Zonda R. And a lot of power here. So what I'm doing is taking this in. It seems to be all 2s. I taught you guys about my sort of mnemonic device. Whoa. That's a 4. Into the 2. And my brightness settings are all messed up here. That looks pretty good, but when we're facing the sun, it gets a little messy. That's a 4. Into what looks to be a 2. Alright, so it looks like we are back to the home stretch here. By the way, you can just turn on a... Whoa, boy. You can turn on a map, an in-game map, to learn it a bit faster. But I'm going to do things the hard way, like standing up in a rowboat. Alright, no idea what's coming here, but I do see the markers on the outside right, which means I have a hard left turn here. I'm going to brake at the 150, because that's usually a safe number. And then we got this interesting little switchback here. So this is probably going to take me longer than the 10 minutes to learn, but I hope to be able to do it in under 15. Alright, so what do we have? We have this first one, which is a left-hander into a banked right, if I'm not mistaken. This one is a 4 in my mind, somewhere between a 2 and 4. If only there was a number between 2 and 4. And this carries out to the outside, I remember, down into a 2. And then followed by another 2, if I'm not mistaken. We go a 4 into a 2, got it. This is a very tight corner here. The one I just came out of, I mean. So I mistakenly thought this was the end of the track last time, but we do get a long run here into... what was this? A 2. Long, long, tight 2. Alright, so I'm also getting a sense of what the track is. It's grippy. There's not a lot of strange camber or anything in the corners, so I'm able to be fairly aggressive here. Alright, so that last little chicane is kind of tripping me up. I do apologize about all that glare on the glass. Alright, so we go 2 into a banked right, which I have to lift for. Little bit of braking, not much. Fast 4 there. Into a wide finish right, down into a slow 2. And I forget what comes next. I want to say this is a blind right-hander. Into a 2. Completely forgetting what comes next. This is faster than I... Yeah, that's right. So last couple of times I had taken that slow, took it a little faster that time. This is a long, long left-hander here. Finishing to the outside, so starting to get a flow now, starting to get an understanding. And is this the final chicane? I can't remember. It is indeed. So better line through there. So I'll just remember that I have 2 blind corners. One is a right-hander that comes faster than, or that we take faster than I would imagine. And then the last one is the final chicane. So a little break there. That one I understood, but got a little bit of understeer from the car, but managed to hold on to it just the same. Come on, Mike. Wake up. So just a few corners that I'm still learning, but generally I am getting the hang of things. Long left-hander here. Which I took too aggressively that time again. Not the end of the world if you mess up. It's just kind of the fringe details that I'm learning now. So we can take the first part of this final chicane a little bit faster, but have to be sort of bleeding out speed as we go into the right-hander. And too fast. Into the dirt. That's all right. So I know I need to bleed out a little bit more speed. Not the end of the world. Two into light brake. Down the gears. Watch out here. Took it too hard last time. Took it too slow by a little bit that time. So this will be downhill, falling to the right. Setting me up for a medium speed corner here. And then we can take this one fast. Take this one fast as well. Alright, so I pretty much got it, I think. So it took this one too fast. This one's a tricky corner. Even though I know it, it's still hard to take. But managed to get it done that time. Alright, so the final chicane now, we'll try and strip out a bit more speed. Braking at the 125 here, which apparently was a little late. Hold on to it. Yeah, so I got to brake at the 150 there. And that should help me get through. It's not going to be a hard break. Just trying to strip out speed. So 120, 110 there. Should get me around this corner safe. Again, no master class, just trying to learn. Woo! And this car does not like the curbs, apparently. So this will fall away to the right. Into a medium speed corner here. Actually, this is low speed, but the one after I could take faster than I did 2 laps ago. So that's fast. Into a third gear right-hander here, trying to get in close to those barrels so I can finish out wide here. That's good. And then Earth falls away and we brake. And first part of this corner is a little bit faster. Then I will brake for the second part of the corner here into second gear. Close one there. And then we're in the final stretch. So, yeah, pretty much got it. So again, the same things I talked about in the last part of the video. Looking for the 150. Still too much speed there. So I really need to watch myself. It's all down to the final chicane in terms of learning this course, unfortunately. But yeah, I was going to say the same things will apply to this one that applied previously, in that you can start experimenting, you know, with taking more curb and how early can I get on the power and things like that. But I think for the most part, I've got this one down pat. Oh, ooh, man, that blind corner, that is tough. So this is slow 2, and then it straightens out slightly and then goes into a left-hander that I can take flat. And then into a dangerous right-hander, try and get in close as possible. Falls away, braking 1, maybe 2 gears. Then the second half of the corner is second gear. And yeah, so that's how I learn it, just kind of information chunking, and I hope this really helped. Sorry for breaking it into 2 parts unnecessarily. Let's see if I can finally get this. 150, 1, 2 is my third gear. There we go. It's still an ugly line. I gotta work through that though. It's a very technical corner. That's got nothing to do with memorizing the course, of course. It just comes down to understanding the corner a little bit more, and you know, what's the ideal line through there. And that might be a good case for turning on the AI and see what they do. Just try and do a sort of a chase with AI cars. Woo-wee! This is close. So that's what happens when you start to experiment with carrying more and more speed. Bad things may happen. Not necessarily, though. But yeah, fairly technical course, and I think I've more or less got it beat. Just got to work on where can I find more speed now. You saw there, I tried to carry a bit more speed through that right-hander, through that left-hander rather, and I kind of got stung for it. So this thing can happen. Sorry for looking at my watch there. Assetto Corsa's tweeting. I gotta know what's going on. We need that new GT3 car. Was it the 296? Alright, finish this lap and then we are done. That's how I learn tracks. 150. Okay. Down into third gear. We're going to hug the right here. There we go. A little cleaner. Still not ideal, but that should be good enough for a PB. And I think I got this. So that's it.